All right. Good morning. Good morning. So, if you are here for the UMBC International Student Session, you are in the right place. We'll go ahead and dive in now. So, my name is Rex Jarrett. I am the Director of Professional Programs, overseeing the Office of Professional Programs here at UMBC. And I'll be leading this session along with my colleague, Chelsea Moyer, who would not be here today, but will have a stand-in with Chris Caird, who is a member of the Shady Grove team. So getting into our agenda, we're going to do welcomes and overviews of our programs. I will lead the Catonsville version or session, and then Chelsea was listed for Shady Grove. Again, Chris Caird will step in there to get you all the overview for the Shady Grove offerings. We'll have Samantha Salvatore from OISS, giving you all the international recruitment perspective. Then we'll go over our academic programs during breakout sessions, and you all have a nice current/alumni panel with three vested students we have here at UMBC. And we'll have an opportunity for you to ask questions and try to make sure we get you your answers in the same session. So with that said, about UMBC. UMBC is a mid-sized public research institution, well known for our R1 doctoral university status. That means we're in the top 1% of universities nationwide doing research. So whatever that research may be, whether it be in the social sciences, cybersecurity, software engineering, we are in the top 1% of research nationwide. And though we are in that top 1%, we're a mid-sized university, meaning your classrooms won't be too big, and you'll actually have an opportunity to be seen by your faculty and your professors and know your classmates. So you're getting a top 1% education, and you're doing it in a classroom small enough where you're benefiting from the quality of the professors and the faculty that you're working with. Some of our accolades and ranking are we were ranked number 19 for most innovative schools in U.S. News Report. And recently, we were also listed as one of the best colleges for national universities for this year. And we're in the top 100 there. As this is an international session, I do want to mention that out of the 2,400 students that we have, we've got about 1,200 international. So we've got students from all over the world, whether that be India, Nicaragua, Sierra Leone, Brazil, China. We've got students from all over the world. So you have an opportunity to learn from not only the best of the best in the United States, you got the best of the best coming from all over the world to share in the learning environment. Talking more so about our rankings and our accolades in research. UMBC, we talk about ranks in the top 100 for public universities. Got an update on this. We are now number 11 in NASA funding and research, and number 30 in federal funding and research for the social sciences. And we are ranked 12 for undergraduate education by U.S. News for best best schools. Now, we've talked a lot about UMBC as a whole, as an institution, what our brand is and who we are as retrievers. But now I want to talk and spend some time around our professional programs that you'll be joining us with. So the professional programs are a subsect of the graduate school. So within graduate school, you've got master's degrees, you've got post-baccalaureate certificates, you've got your PhDs or your doctoral programs where the research is happening. But within the graduate school, we have professional programs, which are MPSs or MSs, that focus on preparing folks for the job force of today. Our professional programs are designed to help prepare students for careers in their specific fields. So, many of you might be here for cybersecurity or health information technology or data science or any of the myriad programs that we offer. But these programs are designed to prepare you for the job market that exists today and to prepare you for the skills for what may come in those roles. Our curriculum has been developed to provide technical and managerial skills. So not only that you have the skills to be effective in your role, but you also have the leadership roles to be one of the folks that people turn to or can trust to lead a team. So, we're only teaching you to be experts. We're teaching you to be leaders in your industries. And that's reflected in who will be teaching your classes. Our classes are all taught by industry experts. Our faculty, many of them adjunct, have 9 to 5s in their fields, go to work, get off of work, and then log in or drive into your classrooms to teach you. So everything that you're learning is literally the state of the art. Whatever they're using to accomplish that task in that industry that day, you're getting the benefit of learning it in your classroom that evening. So, with that said, we talked about the mid to small size classes, having options and modality. So we have in-person and online instruction. You'll often have an opportunity to do a lot of your work online, but you still have the benefit of coming into a classroom, because I know sometimes it's hard to articulate those burning questions via email. And, going back to the rankings and just overall letting you all know, where we stand. We talk about number 12, for best colleges being an R1 institution or 1%. We've also the Carnegie classification for highest level of research, Princeton review. So, there's an about us link there at the bottom. When you guys get the slides, you can check it out. I don't want to spend too much time bragging, but just want to let you guys know we think highly of ourselves, but other people also think highly of us. And this slide here is just an opportunity for you to see which programs that we're offering. So I'm sure many of you already know exactly why you want to join UMBC and exactly what professional program that you're looking into. But, some of us are visual learners. I know that I myself always benefit from a good infographic. So you can see here, we've got our college teaching and learning certificate, community leadership as a program, cybersecurity, data science, engineering management, entrepreneurship, innovation and leadership, or EIL, GIS or geographics program, HIT, health information. We've got management, instructional development, and then learning performance technology, along with college teaching and learning, are getting revamped. So if that's something you're interested in, just reach out to our admissions and student success teams. I think there's some information on that, but those programs will be back and brand new in the coming terms. So again, this is just a visualization so that you can see the master's programs that we offer and the different certificate options that are there. Now, what many of you may not know is that UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, actually has more than one location. There's one in Baltimore County, right outside of Baltimore City, but we also have a location at Shady Grove. So Chris Caird will be our team member who will be here to speak more about that, but just wanted to let you all know in case you didn't. We do have a campus, the Catonsville, or the main campus, that is in Baltimore County. But if you happen to have family or housing that is located in Montgomery County, closer to the Rockville or Silver Spring areas, there's a UMBC Shady Grove campus that allows you some flexibility with your learning there. So talking more about Shady Grove, we've got 9 universities there, 1 campus in Rockville. But I'll let Chris speak more to that.
Thanks, Rex. So hi, everyone. My name is Chris Caird. I am the Professional Programs Assistant for our campus at Shady Grove. And I'm here to just give you a short little overview of the universities at Shady Grove, which UMBC is partnered with. So the universities at Shady Grove is what's known as a regional higher education center. So it's one campus in Rockville, Maryland, that several different universities or institutions partner and offer programs at, all on one campus in Montgomery County. So UMBC is just one of the 9 universities that offer programs on this one campus in Rockville, Maryland. Next slide. So yeah, the universities at Shady Grove is 9 universities all on this one campus. And the reason is because the location is very important for this area. We are alongside the I-270 technology corridor, which has lots of local industry and connections that both of our faculty and our students can have a lot of opportunities during their time here. We're only 18 miles to Washington, D.C., which can be reached via our metro line, the red line specifically, which is only 4 miles away from the campus via the Shady Grove metro line. So USG, the universities at Shady Grove, is considered a full-service non-residential campus, which means it has all the same resources that a traditional campus would, except for on-campus housing or dormitories. But everything else is there for students to access. Next slide. So here are specifically the professional programs that are available at the Shady Grove campus location. We offer master's degrees and post-baccalaureate certificates in biotechnology, cybersecurity, data science, and industrial organizational psychology. And it's very important to note that biotechnology and industrial organizational psychology, which both have MPS and certificate options, are only available at the Shady Grove campus location. These two programs are not offered at the Catonsville campus in Baltimore County. So here at the universities at Shady Grove, our professional programs are taught by adjunct faculty that are directly connected to the local and regional industries that they're associated with in Montgomery County and DC. Again, this location compared to Baltimore County is very connected to the DC area. Again, local industry is very important to our location, and our faculty and staff are directly, working in those fields in this area. And so you have direct access to those industries in this area, as well as all of our classes are offered in the evenings with flexible modalities. That means typically our classes are held between 6 and 9 p.m. And you'll have options for in-person, online, hybrid, and high flex courses throughout the course of your program. Next slide. So I know hearing that there's two campuses, sometimes this can confuse students, or maybe there's some kind of loss between the campuses. But at the universities at Shady Grove, you are earning a true UMBC degree. There's no asterisk or addendum of any kind about where you completed your coursework or anything like that. Really, it's truly the same programs, just at a different location. You have access to all of the same resources and support that are offered at the main campus, as well as the resources that are offered only at the universities at Shady Grove. So really, you have just more options for these resources and support. It's the same tuition rate you'll be paying for both campuses across all classes. The only difference is that the fee structure is just slightly different due to things like labs and resources like that. On top of that, as a UMBC student at the universities at Shady Grove, you will have not only access to scholarship opportunities through UMBC's Scholarship Retriever, you will also have additional scholarship resources through the USG itself as well. So again, just more options really. So as I wind down my section of the presentation, I'd just like to remind you all where you can reach us if you have any questions going forward. If you are interested in any of the programs at our Catonsville campus, which is closer again to Baltimore, it's in Baltimore County, you can feel free to reach out at professionals@umbc.edu. But if you are interested in any of our programs at the Shady Grove location, again, closer to Washington, D.C., you can feel free to reach out to sgprofessionalprograms@umbc.edu. Now I'm going to hand it over to our colleague Samantha Salvatore, who is the Assistant Director of International Recruitment from the UMBC Office of International Student and Scholar Services from the Center of Global Engagement, to go over her portion of the presentation. So Samantha, go ahead, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Rex, as well, for starting us off, kicking us off, and giving some great information in general about both of our campuses here at UMBC. My portion here of the presentation will really talk about some tailored information specifically for our international students. So talking a little bit about our international community at UMBC, just a little bit about the application process, and really some of the highlights that we see lots of questions about from our international prospective students. So we do want to mention that we welcome your questions. We really want to make sure that you, as prospective students, walk away from this session feeling like you're really confident in being prepared to apply to UMBC. If you have specific questions about your academic program, we ask you to hold those until we go into those academic breakout rooms. But if you have general questions about UMBC, the application process, or student life, please do feel free to drop those in the chat as we go along now or later on during the Q&A, and either our staff or our current students and alumni will answer those in the Q&A section. So talking a little bit about the international community at UMBC at a glance. Why do our international students choose UMBC? When we kind of poll our current students and alumni, these are some of the most common reasons we hear that UMBC is a great destination for international students. As Rex talked a lot about, we are a nationally ranked public research institution with that Carnegie R1 classification. So our students and faculty are engaged in a really high level of groundbreaking research across all disciplines. Additionally, we have a very active, internationally connected community with more than 2,000 international students across all study levels, and are in a really advantageous location. Both of our campuses, outside the city of Baltimore and then at Shady Grove outside of Washington, D.C., are great locations that you get that good balance of city life, but safe communities, safe campuses, close to excellent job opportunities. And then, of course, we have those really in-demand programs, especially the professional programs that you're here to learn about today, that have strong employment opportunities and outcomes across all of these programs. Here's a few more fast facts about our international community. We have about, as I said, 2,000 students that are international across all study levels, bachelor's, master's, and PhD. And as Rex mentioned, the majority of those are at the graduate level, around 1,200 or so in our graduate and professional programs. Our students and faculty come from over 90 countries. And some of the top countries that we see students from include places like India, Bangladesh, Nigeria, and others. We're really proud of the diversity of countries that our students are coming from, and we hope that you do choose to apply to us and add to our really active international community on campus. I want to talk a little bit about the Center for Global Engagement. This is kind of the one-stop shop for international and global engagement activities on campus. CGE provides activities, services, and advising for our international students, as well as other groups on campus like study abroad students, faculty, and scholars. These include teams such as our international student recruitment team, which I sit on, and you might have the opportunity to talk to some of my colleagues in your breakout rooms, the Office of International Students and Scholars, our English Language Institute, our Education Abroad and Global Learning, Global Partnerships, and Special and Custom programs. While you're preparing to be a student, and then once you enroll, the two teams that you interact with most closely are our International Student Recruitment Team and our Office of International Students and Scholars. Our International Student Recruitment Team supports you with things like outreach and inquiries, like these info sessions we're doing today, recruitment travel, so maybe we'll get the opportunity in the future to meet you in your home country as you're going through the application process. We also organize our Global Ambassador team, who you'll hear from a couple of those students later today in our current student panel. And we support you kind of everything pre-arrival. So the initial F1 student visa process, pre-orientation, and admitted student events. If, or hopefully when, you become a current student, you interact closely with our OISS team, who support things like orientation, employment authorization, and lots of cultural activities and events for our current students. So we are in the same office under CGE, but ISR and OISS do slightly different things. We're all here to support you throughout your application journey, your admission journey, and then through your entire time as a student. Now I want to talk a little bit about campus life and the student experience for our international students. We are a very active campus, and the students that are most successful with us are those that really want to take advantage of everything that we have available. So just a few things that really pop out that our international students take advantage of quite a lot and are very popular with them include things like our state-of-the-art fitness center, our comprehensive health and wellness complex, including medical services, mental health counseling, and spiritual well-being spaces. We are a very livable community. I think we hear from a lot of students that this is a very easy place to live, with things like ethnic grocery stores, restaurants, and shopping nearby campus, both in our Catonsville campus, and then also good connectivity in our Shady Grove campus. And we also have free transportation, primarily on our Catonsville campus, to not only get around campus, but get around the community nearby our campus. One thing we really like to highlight that improves your experience on campus is getting involved outside of the classroom. So we do have more than 230 student organizations, clubs and organizations that span a variety of fields, from academic groups, career and professional organizations, hobby-based things like intramural sports, lots of different opportunities, dance and performance, intellectual sports like chess clubs, tabletop role play games. There's really something for everyone. And we really encourage our students, especially our graduate and professional students that maybe aren't thinking about this as much. But we really encourage you to look at our list of clubs and activities and consider joining one. This is a great way to build your social network, make friends, as well as just get the most out of your campus experience that is really kind of unique to study in the US. Beyond that, we have a lot of recreation and events on campus. Our Retriever Activity Center is kind of our gym and workout space. This is available to you free as a student, is very popular. We also have, there's really an event or activity going on every single day on campus. So music and theater performances, you can see some of our students here in the game room that's in our student center, and just lots of things going on campus. And again, we really encourage students to get involved. What we hear from our students and alumni, and you'll hear from them later today, is that some of their favorite memories and favorite experiences are going to some of these events and meeting people or doing some of these activities outside of the classroom as well. We are a community engaged campus, meaning we have a lot of opportunities to do things like take advantage of leadership opportunities, really build that community, both with our international students as well as just all of our students across campus. So I highly encourage you to look into some of these opportunities, see what interests you, and add these to your list of research of how you might want to get involved. These are a couple highlights specifically for our graduate and professional students of ways to get involved outside of the classroom. So some examples include our graduate student and postdoctoral development, or GSPD group. This organizes networking and community building events, conferences, training and events specifically tailored to our graduate and professional students. These help you build skills, and that'll serve you as you go through your graduate degree, prepare for the professional workforce, as well as just, again, build those connections, build your friend group, and really kind of round out your campus experience. We also like to highlight some of the resources available in our library, our AOK library, especially if you're in a graduate program that you might be doing research or you're interested in doing research. We have dedicated librarians that you can schedule time with that can really help you one-on-one to find resources, really dig into that research to really enhance your experience as a graduate student. They also hold workshops on skill building around research, writing, and other related topics that we hear from them. They love to see international students at, and really hope more international graduate and professional students will attend as well. One question we get a lot from our prospective and admitted students is on housing and accommodation. As graduate students, most of our students live off campus in our nearby communities, whether that be in Catonsville or Baltimore or in Shady Grove. In general, what it's important to know right now as a prospective student is there is a lot of available housing, typically apartments or rental houses nearby campus, wide variety of options available that are often accessible by perhaps our free UMBC transit system or public transportation. As you kind of go through the process, If you're offered admission and start to look into your housing options in a more detailed manner, we do have an office on campus called Retriever Support Services that can help students navigate off-campus housing options as well as other basic needs. So when you're getting ready to maybe transition into the US, really find what apartments are available, what it means to sign a lease in the US, things like that. We have lots of resources available for you on campus to understand those options and navigate these systems. Student employment and career opportunities on campus. On an F1 student visa, you are eligible to work on campus up to 20 hours per week as a student worker. You do apply for these roles once you arrive on campus, typically. There are quite a number of on-campus jobs available, but they aren't guaranteed, so you do have to go through the application process. The minimum wage or minimum salary in Maryland is $15 per hour. The exact wage that you'll get as a student worker might vary, but all must pay at least $15 per hour. So this is, if you secure an on-campus work position, this is not enough, of course, to pay for your entire tuition or all of your costs, but can help with some of your extra expenses, like going out with friends on the weekend or helping with some of your living costs. We'll talk a little bit more about graduate assistantships later on in my presentation, as well as perhaps in your academic breakout sessions. And then when it comes to things like internships and employment after graduation, again, on an F1 student visa, this is allowed with approval. Internships are typically part-time off-campus roles in positions directly related to your field of study. This is called curricular practical training. This is allowed after you complete your first year of study. So we really want you to focus that first year on studying, building good relationships with your professors and with your classmates. Then after 1 year, if you're interested in doing that internship, starting to get that professional experience, you'll work with our Office of International Students and Scholars to get that role approved, and you're able to do that. And then after you graduate with an F1 student visa, you are eligible to work full-time in an off-campus role directly related to your degree, at least 1 year, and then in certain degrees that are STEM eligible, up to 3 years after graduating. Again, these roles must be approved by OISS through OPT, or what we call optional practical training, or STEM OPT. So that's STEM optional practical training. And I want to say about all of these employment options and the immigration compliance rules is there is a lot of rules that can feel really overwhelming. You're never expected to hear it once today and then never hear it again. You'll work with our various offices, whether that be our recruitment team, our admissions teams, or our OISS team, as you go through each stage to really understand not only the immigration compliance rules and regulations, but as well as the opportunities that make the most sense for you. I want to talk a little bit in general about career support and student outcomes. Here on our campus, we have a really excellent career center, which works closely with you as students as to get that professional experience, to create a success story. We really want all of our students to leave our campus, transition into the professional workforce, and feel like they're successful in their career. So the Career Center is your primary connection for that, but you might also receive additional support from academic advisors, faculty, as well as our teams in the Center for Global Engagement. Some of the Career Center services that are available include at least 2 large career and internship fairs each year, where local, national, and international employers come to our campus to recruit students and graduates for our those internships and post-graduation opportunities. You can also meet one-on-one to receive personalized coaching, job search assistance, or resume review. The Career Center also hosts a number of workshops, panels, webinars, coffee chats with employers throughout the year. So we really encourage you to connect with the Career Center early and work with them consistently to really not only build those skills, but have all of those networking opportunities to set yourself up for career success. A couple things that are unique to UMBC's campus, specifically for our international students. We know for you as international students, your career outcomes and that return on investment is really, really important. So we provide some of these specialized support services to really help you achieve whatever your goals are. One of those is our International Student Career Advisor. This is a role who spends half of his time in the Career Center and half of his time on our team in the Center for Global Engagement to really provide targeted, dedicated to support for you as an international student to get that guidance on finding internships and jobs that really match your goals, but also fall under that CPT and OPT immigration compliance. So his name is Farhan. He works very closely with all of our international students to make sure you're finding those really supportive, targeted positions. Each year, we also host an International Student Career Conference. This happens every spring. It's one of the most popular events every year. And it's meant to provide soon to graduate students with workshops, networking opportunities, to hear from employers and alumni about navigating that job search, understanding visa options, whether that be CPT, OPT, STEM OPT, or beyond. So really, as you're getting ready to graduate, this day-long event, we highly encourage you to keep on your radar, even now as prospective students, because it'll really launch your career or put you in a good place to launch your career. In terms of graduate outcomes, here are just a few snapshots. You'll see that 99% of F1 graduates who are employed are in positions directly related to their career goals. And upwards of 85 to almost 90% of our students, graduate students, are employed or have gone on to further education within 6 months of graduation. So despite what you might have heard or seen rumors about in terms of shifting industry opportunities in the US, we are still seeing strong success for our international students in securing really good internships and careers. You can see and maybe will recognize some of the employers that hire our students and graduates. We work with over 1,200 employers who actively come to campus to recruit for opportunities. And these are just a snapshot of some of the ones that we see a lot of students go to. So in terms of return on investment, these are kind of the three things we hear from students, is that they're getting really good opportunities on campus between working with their faculty, getting that student support, getting that career support and professional development. And we have a really strong overall value. So we'll talk a little bit about tuition cost here in a minute, but we are really seen as the #1 best value university in the state of Maryland, especially when we look at the median starting salary for our graduate and professional students. Briefly, I want to talk about the US student visa process. This is kind of at large all of the steps that you will go through as you are transitioning into the US on an F1 student visa. The 4 that really are important right now and that we help you most closely with in our office are these first 4 steps. Applying for admission, then you must be offered admission, requesting an I-20, which is the document that allows you to apply for a student visa, and then receiving that I-20 document. So these are the ones that you kind of need to be aware of right now. And really the most important step to start the visa process at all, you must apply for admission. I know with a lot of uncertainty around the visa process, what we hear from students is there's desire to kind of understand about the visa interview or possibility of receiving a visa. But bottom line, the first thing to get the process started is you must apply for admission. Some current considerations to take into effect. The visa situation is frequently in flux and kind of constantly changing. Typically, what we're seeing right now is the student visa process can take several months. Something to be aware of is that as of January 1st, 2026, nationals from 39 countries are currently restricted from entering the US. We don't know when or if these restrictions will change, You can see on our immigration updates website, and we can share that link when we share these slides, which countries are affected. You will want to check to see if you are from a country that is affected by that current restriction. We are optimistic that these may change in the future, but we don't know when or if they will change. No matter what, as I said, the first step of the visa process is applying for admission. So even if you are affected by these restrictions, we still encourage you to apply for your program, apply soon, and go through those first few steps to be ready to move forward with further steps when you are capable. A few more tips and tricks. I'll say it again, start early, start the application process early, because that will put you in better shape for the visa process later on. It's also very, very important to think through your plan to pay for your education. We'll talk about cost here on the next slide. But it's very important that even right now, you start to think through your plan to pay for your education. And ultimately, our team in international student recruitment, OISS, your academic programs, who you'll meet shortly, are here to support you throughout the process. So we are able to answer any questions you have and help you navigate it. In terms of estimated cost of attendance, this is the current estimated cost of attendance for our professional programs. Tuition fees around $27,000 with estimated living expenses and other costs. The total estimated cost, the amount that you do have to show, and readily available funding to receive an I-20 and be prepared to apply for that student visa is $51,011. To be clear, this is a one-year cost. Most of our graduate and professional programs are 2 years. So when you're making a financial plan, expect to pay double this for 2 years, but this is the amount you have to show at the beginning of the process in terms of the visa. We currently don't have any scholarships available for our graduate and professional programs, so the only form of funding would be through graduate assistantships. There are very limited positions, and these positions are always highly competitive. They are often teaching, research, or various administrative work that may come with a tuition discount and a stipend. What we see across most departments, like I said, they're typically limited positions anyway, and at the master's level, many students are not offered them until their second semester or second year on campus. So what we encourage, if you're interested in graduate assistantships, is to make a financial plan that covers your full cost of attendance, come to campus, study very well in your first semester, build those relationships with faculty. And then perhaps if you're lucky in that second semester or second year, it would be a good surprise to get that funding, but we encourage you never to rely on graduate assistantships in terms of your funding and financial plan. Really briefly, I just want to talk about the application requirements. You can ask more specific questions about these in your academic breakout rooms. For our international students, what we look at is your academic history and proof of English language proficiency for all programs, letters of recommendation, a goal statement or statement of purpose. These vary by department, but are typically required for many programs. We do ask for a $50 application fee for all applications, a resume or CV. So this is a really quick, brief outline, and I encourage you to ask specific questions about the application process and what might vary by program in your academic breakout rooms. Some general application tips we hear across all programs and departments is that in your statement of purpose, if that's required, to demonstrate a strong understanding of UMBC and the program that you're applying to. And I really highly encourage you to check and remember application deadlines. Application deadlines can be slightly different depending on the program or the campus. So really be sure you're asking those questions, checking our website to put yourself in the best position to increase your chance of admission. So just if you are interested in hearing more, I'll put some information about our global ambassadors. If you want to chat with a global ambassador after our call today, you can connect with them directly on our website. And of course, you'll hear from them a little bit later on in our Q&A panel as well. We encourage you to stay connected to us. Check our website, our recruitment website at umbc.edu/global, as well as our Office of Professional Programs website. And really highly encourage you to follow us on social media. We've been increasing our activity for our international students on social media in the last few months. Would love to have you watch that content, follow us, tag us if you have questions. You can find us on Instagram, where we are most active at UMBC Global Student, as well as on Facebook. For now, I will invite Veronica and our student panel to come on camera. And we'll start with some kind of guided questions first and foremost, and then go to any questions that our prospective students have in the chat. So Veronica, we'll start with you. Could you introduce yourself, where you're from, your home country, what year you are in your program, or if you're alumni, and what program you studied in?
Hello everyone, this is Varnika and I am from India, and I have completed my bachelor's degree in software engineering and worked for a year at Deloitte as an associate analyst, and currently I'm pursuing my Master's of Professional Studies in Data Science at UMBC.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. And we're really excited to hear about your experiences as a student on campus to share with all of the students on the call today. So our first question for you is, why did you choose to study data science, and why did you specifically choose to study data science at UMBC?
Yeah, so I chose UMBC mainly because this program is very practical and industry focused, and the electives were very flexible, and I already had a background in software engineering and some exposure to machine learning back when I was working in Deloitte. So I wanted a program that would help me build my skills that are directly applicable in the industry more than I didn't want my course to be more theoretical. And I wanted it to be more practical. Another important reason was that the program offers multiple different pathways that I can pursue. And I was especially interested in the project management pathway that UMBC offers because I felt like it would add a lot of value alongside my technical background and everything. And another reason is that most of our professors are actually currently working in the industry right now. So which brings they bring in real world experience and practical insights into the classroom. So these are a few reasons that I chose UMBC.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. I think you highlighted a lot of the things that we also highlight on our campus, that really engage highly qualified faculty, the applied learning that you get in your classroom. So I'm glad those came across to you as a prospective student, and that they've been successful so far. And the next question is, what was surprising to you about graduate school once you arrived, or surprising about the process of transitioning to living in the United States, studying in the United States, being on a university campus?
Yeah, so one thing that really surprised me was how much independence and self-management graduate school requires. That's not the case usually in the undergrad. Like, you're expected to take a lot more ownership of what you're doing, your learning, time management are priorities in graduate school as compared to undergrad. So in transitioning to life in the US, surely takes some time, especially adjusting to the climate here and the new culture. But overall, I found people to be very welcoming and inclusive here at UMBC. I feel like UMBC has a very supportive environment, and over time, I think we'll just discover resources that will help us make this transition easier in UMBC.
One thing, is it Yes, flows really well from what you were saying about finding resources to transition. Can you describe a little bit more about the campus culture, the community, what resources you've taken advantage of as a student outside the classroom, whether that be clubs or organizations or research? Can you just talk a little bit more about that experience that you've had?
Sure. So, from my experience, UMBC has a very inclusive and supportive campus culture, especially for graduate and international students. People are very approachable, and there's a strong sense of collaboration. And I live off campus. And I found my accommodation through UMBC student groups, which was really helpful. And when I was settling in initially, and I was able to communicate with the students through these groups and get to know how things work here. And I was able to get like heads up and what should I be prepared for ahead. And I'm also currently working on campus as an IT assistant, so which has helped me connect with staff and better understand how different departments across the universities work. And there are several resources that I have used on campus outside the classroom, like one that I especially find helpful is the Career Center. Like previously mentioned in the session, they offer opportunities to have a resume reviewed by the professional coach, and I've used that service myself, and it is really helpful. And they also conduct like job fairs, which is a good experience for us to explore the opportunities. And I need to mention about transit system, which made getting around much easier. The shuttles connect us to like the supermarkets, the malls, and the train station, downtown, everywhere. So, which is especially helpful when you're new to the area. And another small but impactful resource was the ISSS provided us a free SIM initially when we were here for about a month. So which made the first few weeks much smoother, and ISSS is always open for any queries related to our visa status or work permits and everything. So ISSS is one major place that I go to for assistance. So yes, there are a lot of resources to explore.
Wonderful. Well, always love to hear the positive feedback about our ISSS team and CGE. We, of course, all of our offices try to be helpful and supportive, but especially our team in the Center for Global Engagement. Glad you've had good experiences with us. We'll definitely pass that along to that team. And then the last question to kind of wrap up this formal Q&A before we go into general questions is the audience on the call today is our prospective students that might be just starting to prepare to apply. They might be a little bit further along. But thinking back to your time as a prospective student, what advice can you share to help our students prepare for a successful and productive graduate school journey?
My major advice would be to be proactive and open to exploring resources beyond just coursework. Graduate school is way like it's more than academics. It's also about like building skills, connections, networking, how confident we are. And I would encourage students to take advantage of campus resources early, whether that's career services, student groups, or anything. These resources would really improve both our like academic and our personal experience here. And we just have to give ourselves some time to adjust, whether it's academic culture, daily life. It's okay if things don't feel perfect right away initially, but over time, I think everyone will find their rhythm and make the most out of what UMBC has to offer.
Samantha. Hi, this is Stephanie. Thank you, Samantha and Veronica. I did want to let you know that also our alum has joined us, Shashank. And so we still have a couple of more minutes until we're going to flow into the Q&A portion. So if you could give a couple of questions out to Shashank to give a little bit of his testimonial and experience from an alumni perspective, then we can move into the Q&A. And as far as the attendees, we see these wonderful, great questions coming into the chat. Many of my admissions personnel are answering. I've also been copying and pasting some of those so that we can get our international staff to help assist. So if you give us about 5 or 10 more minutes, we're going to continue this panel. Then we're going to open it up to all of the Q&A, answer the chat messages and any other questions you may have at that time. Thank you for your patience.
Perfect. Yes. Thank you, Stephanie. And to all of our students, we love your questions. Please keep sending your questions. Like I said earlier, we want to make sure you leave today's session with no doubts, no hesitations, feeling really confident about us. So please continue dropping those questions in the chat. From here, I will say a hello to Shashank. I'm glad you were able to join us. I'll go back a couple slides here. Would love to hear from you, Shashank. We know you're an alumni, but can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your home country, what you studied, what you're doing now that you've graduated from UMBC from one of our professional programs?
Hi everyone, my name is Shashank Bhagwatula. I'm from India. And currently I'm working as an associate scientist supporting manufacturing of P1 devices at Low Biosciences. I took a biotechnology program at UMBC, Shady Grove campus in 2024, and I've graduated 2023, my bad, sorry. And I've graduated last year, May. And my major is biotechnology.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And we talked a little bit earlier in the presentation about career options and what success looks like for our students. So I think you're a great example of that, of having gone through a really in-demand program of biotechnology and secured a strong position. I'd love to have you think back to a number of years ago when you were just thinking about applying. Why did you choose to study biotechnology? And why did you specifically choose to study biotechnology at UMBC at Shady Grove?
So when I was exploring graduate programs, I was looking for three key things. First is strong academics and industry relevance, because I had plans to move to an industry, and also a very supporting environment, especially as an international student. So I chose biotechnology master's program because it is very well aligned with industry needs. The program is, it gives a strong foundation in molecular biology, bioprocessing, quality and regulatory aspects. And the curriculum is well designed that it not just focuses on the theory, they also emphasize on how the biotechnology functions in the real world in a regulated environment. That approach really helped me understand how science works in pharmaceutical industry, which directly relates to what I'm doing right now in my current role, because I support manufacturing. And coming to UMBC, UMBC stood out because of its strong reputation in biotechnology and applied sciences. And also the other key reason is the campus is the location of the campus is surrounded by leading pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies, where Milipo Sigma is right next to the campus. And there are many other companies like AstraZeneca, Regenxbio Bio. So being the heart of such biotechnology hub, it was easy for me to have a connection between the classroom learning and the real world industry, where there are many other science fairs and the networking events happening all around the campus every time.
Wonderful. Yeah, I really think particularly biotechnology and particularly biotechnology at UMBC at Shady Grove, there's almost no better location in the country because of all of that industry plus the academic and professional training right in a very close radius. So I'm glad that stood out to you as a prospective student, and it's obviously been successful to get through your degree program and now launch your career. Particularly for, I'm going to jump ahead to this question. Studying at Shady Grove, can you describe a little bit what the campus culture or community was like what clubs or organizations or outside of the classroom activities or resources did you take advantage of when you were a student?
From my perspective, I guess UMBC has a collaborative and inclusive campus culture. Students are motivated to participate in different events, and also there's a strong sense of support and collaboration. People are willing to help, share knowledge, and to work together as well. And also I've served as a graduate teaching assistant, which was one of the rewarding aspects for me, because it allowed me to gain some experience. It allowed me to closely work with the faculty, students, and also develop leadership and communication skills as well. And there are many other resources on campus which you can use, like the career fair and other. There are all other different activities always happening and that around the campus. Well, altogether, I guess, helped me boost my experience, also my confidence in handling things in a better way. One major thing that really helped me is the networking events and also the career fair and also the career support. They helped me build my resume and they helped me go through the interview process. They helped me uh, feel confident about myself.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think one question we hear from students is, what are some of the differences between the Catonsville campus and Shady Grove campus, and are the resources the same? But everything you just described, those career resources, the outside of classroom opportunities, the networking, I think really shows that both on our Catonsville campus, which Veronica talked about, and then what you're saying of your experience on Shady Grove, you can get those really strong, robust experiences both inside and outside the classroom. Wonderful. And then our final question for you, Shashank, before we jump to our third panelist, is what advice do you have for the prospective students on the call today as they are perhaps just starting their graduate school journey?
Like Veronica mentioned, I guess the one thing is be proactive. It's just that you need to find ways to reach out to people. It's fine. Any question that you have that's not silly. It might sound silly, but at the end of the day, everyone's there to support you. I guess you just need to ask for it. So that's one main thing. You need to be proactive. You can talk to your professors, ask questions, and also take advantage of the networking events because that's going to help you at the end. And where it will also help you understand how it works in the real world setting because it's totally different. And there are also courses that helps you build uh, your confidence where they're going to teach you how to present, how to feel confident about it, and then also building relationships with the faculty's peers. Uh, every connection is important. Doesn't matter where they come from, but it's going to help you at some other point. And also the other thing is time management. It's also critical, especially if you're working on campus. That's going to be an additional thing on your head where you have to manage both your responsibilities, your coursework, and your personal life as well, because a balance is always important between the personal and professional life. So yeah, planning ahead, stay focused, make a big. This makes a big difference, and I would also strongly encourage students to gain hands-on experience through projects, internships. Uh, Try to get an internship, which is going to help you for sure. There are plenty of opportunities available. You just need to look for it. There are different ways. There are also postings that comes from professors and stuff. So always stay in contact. These fills the gaps between the academic and the industry experience, and it will prepare you for your career. Just be patient. It takes time. I know it's overwhelming at times, but things will fall in place.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all of that insight and advice for our students. I'd love to ask the same question. I think our third panelist, Janya, has joined us. So is one of our global ambassadors, one of our current students who's able to chat with our prospective students through our ambassador platform. She's also with us on the call today. So I'd love to hear your response to this same question. What is your advice for prospective students, maybe as they're just getting started or partially through the admissions journey?
Okay, hi everyone. The advice I'll give to the new incoming students is like build your network strongly with the other students and with your professors. Stay in contact with the professors. They'll help you a lot even to gain your assistantships and everything. And also participate in every career fairs and any internships programs are going on. That will help you a lot and also gives you like a little bit of confidence and also you'll have an idea what's going on out of the university.
Wonderful. And so since you just logged on, can you share what program you're studying in and how far along you are in your degree?
Okay, I'm pursuing my master's in health information technology right now. I'm in my third semester. I did my undergrad in dentistry back in India.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We are kind of wrapping up our time for this panel, and we want to make sure we get to all of the questions in the chat. But before we go to the open Q&A, would love to ask all of my panelists, so Shashank and Veronica, do you have any final thoughts or tips that you want to share with all of our students on the call today before or as they're considering studying at UMBC?
I guess the only one final
Yeah.
point is it doesn't matter. Again, I guess I've mentioned this earlier. Everyone have questions, and we are new to this environment, so it's better to ask. It could be about anything. It could be about your visa issues, or it could be about OPT. Never think it's too early to ask something. It's fine. If you have a question, get it cleared. Approach people. It will also help you communicate well. At some point, you will feel more confident about doing it later. And yeah, that's all I can say. Just ask. Just go ahead. It's fine. No one's going to judge you. Yeah, everyone's there to help you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,